Our final storyteller, the best advice he ever got was from Father Caustic, who said the best thing you can do for your children is love their mother. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present David Clark.
The morning of the attacks, I was home and I was asleep. And the phone rang and it was my fiancée. And she said, "Quick, you have to turn on the TV. Something's happening." And I turned on the TV and I saw what was going on. I saw the World Trade Center in flames, and I knew that as a New York City cop, there was one thing and only one thing I had to do, and that was to get to work. I jumped in my car and I drove across Brooklyn, and it was a beautiful day. It was an illimitable blue sky. And as I got closer and closer to my station house, it got grayer and grayer, and the dust started to hit my car. And I knew then what my plan was. So I get to my station house, and I was a field training officer. My job was to take the rookies and when they come out of the academy and train them. Up until then, it was the most dangerous job I've ever had, standing in front of a bunch of 20-year-olds with guns. And my job is to put them out onto 3rd Avenue in Brooklyn and on traffic posts and to assist the people walking back from Manhattan. I put them out on their posts, and when I was done, I said, "Okay, you guys stay here. Do what you have to do. Somebody will be back for you." And with that, I went back to the station house, and I told the desk officer, "Well, I'm going up to the World Trade Center now." And he said, "Well, you can't. Yours are for here." I said, "Well, that's great. You could suspend me when I get back, but I'm going." So I made my way up to the site, and I looked around, and I just found other people who looked like they knew what they were doing. And we began to dig the site out on our hands and knees, filling up 5-gallon joint compound buckets and handing them down a line. They did that, and night turned into day, and day turned once again into night, and I realized I hadn't eaten. I don't miss very many. And I head off the pile out onto West Street. There was a triage center in the American Express building there, and I figured, well, I'll probably find something to eat there. As I'm walking out onto West Street, I see this young girl, and she's standing holding a tray of Outback steak sandwiches. And she's standing over them, and she's blowing off the dust. Now, I didn't have one. And I couldn't tell you what this girl looked like. I couldn't tell you how tall she was. I couldn't tell you what she was wearing. I could tell you that she was ready to break. Picture this woman sitting in this maelstrom of activity. Men and women and rescue workers and machinery, and there she is, making sure that we had something to eat. Now, I was a cop for a long time, and I wasn't just a cop. I was a Brooklyn cop. Okay? I had a context for violence. I had seen and done things over the course of my 15 years that had given me a professional scab. This girl didn't have a bit of that. But there she stood with us. You know, people tell me or ask me, well, why do you tell this story? You know, for 75 years, my family has policed this city. This is ours. And we never let the bad guys win. And I feel like if I don't tell her story, they will have won. And I know that this week, on the streets of Paris, on the streets of Nairobi, on the streets of Beirut, there was some kid who was so far in over their head, but they stood and they tried to make sure that everything was okay. Because that's who we are. Thank you.